Can you feel that cold, clammy sensation around your throat? Yeah, that's nothing to be worried about. It is just another slight incremental tightening of the noose around your neck, as Twitter is expanding their private information policy. Well, that doesn't sound so bad. I mean, it's about just phone numbers, addresses, and IDs, etc., right? Those things are already illegal to share and, incidentally, not allowed on Twitter. Weird. Well, why are you banning something you're already not allowing, Twitter? Well, it's because this is, of course, the smoke screen for the actual measures being taken. It's attempted to be muddled as much as possible in this little announcement here, but essentially what it boils down to is that you are no longer allowed to share private media, images or pictures or recordings or videos of anyone without their explicit consent. Alright, well that sounds reasonable, but I feel as if Twitter might be hinting at who exactly this is intended to protect here. Oh yes, activists and dissidents. This is how far we've fallen, right? This channel is primarily focused with gaming culture and nerdy stuff and such on, but this is of paramount importance to what we're trying to do. What we are trying to do with gatekeeping our hobbies to keep the people out who want to remove everyone who do not explicitly agree with their own moral and political dogma. Because we're already fighting an uphill battle. We are already the literally oppressed in this scenario. And this is just yet another step on the way. People like Project Veritas, for example, who have repeatedly humiliated the wokest far left again and again by, showing us school teachers admitting to indoctrinating children in ANTIFA ideologies. Just out of the wild example there. They will no longer be allowed to use Twitter to do this, and you can bet your happy little asshole this will swiftly spread through Silicon Valley like yet another fire in the desiccated wasteland of that authoritarian little hellhole. Or what about independent journalists like Andy No, taking pictures and documenting Antifa and BLM violence? Well, no more of that, sir. You see, that might endanger them. It might violate their right to privacy. What about Bike Lock Guy, for example, who brained a person and was caught primarily due to the actions of the internet? Well, can't do that either. All of this is now verboten. You are not allowed to show the activists or the dissidents in a negative light. And just in case you were thinking as well, and somehow you were so blue-eyed and naive as to think this might affect both activists and dissidents. I mean, you would think that, okay, well, this would protect the people who took part in the storming of the Capitol, for example. Au contraire, mon ami. No. Because you see, if the images are being spread on mainstream traditional media, well, in that case, we may allow them to remain. Aha. A very single-edged weapon you've made there, Twitter, coincidentally. And, of course, if a particular image and the accompanying tweet text adds value to public discourse, is being shared in a public interest, or is relevant to the community, then Twitter will assess the context to determine whether or not it gets to stay up. Oh, thank God. Twitter will get to assess the context. Well, we have nothing to worry about then, do we, gentlemen? See, this used to be funny. The overblown sarcasm of it. Because I would say something like that and you'd be like, ha, that's so silly. Of course they'll screw us in every possible imaginable way with this. And obviously it'll only slice one way. But we've gotten so goddamn used to it now. It's not sarcasm. It's just reality. It is literally just stating, bald-facedly, without any subterfuge, what is going to happen, isn't it? Wow, to think we'd be looking at Jack Dorsey's retreating back, fleeing back as he gets stepped down as CEO, and go, hold on, you weren't so bad. The next guy's way worse. I think to us, Jack, to a much lesser degree than Zuckerberg, but both of them didn't go into this. They didn't create Twitter and Facebook with the intention of turning them into tools of brown shirt dominance, of actual genuine industrialized censorship in the modern age. Because here's the thing too, where are we getting the information about where do we get the information like what is revealed by Project Veritas? Now you can criticize them, you can say that they're biased. Oh no, who isn't? In this day and goddamn age, unbiased journalism is as dead as a doornail. I don't even care if Project Veritas is biased anymore, because everyone else is as well. It is up to us, the individual, to make sure that we are getting our information from as many sources as possible. But independent journalists, again, like Andy Ngo, who's actually covering the riots and the protests. Without people like him, what would you see on the mainstream media? Fiery but mostly peaceful protests? That's the goddamn scary thing. We are so used to the internet, so used to having all this information at our fingertips, so used to getting the information when we want it, that in reality, if social media begins cracking down, it'll all just disappear. It's just like the YouTube like and dislike problems. Now you see an awful trailer by a huge corporation and it's got 1,500 dislikes and likes and 1 million views, and you're like, wow, everyone loves this video. Not a single solitary downvote. It must be amazing. Whilst in reality there would have been about 500,000 dislikes on that video. But if you can't see it, you can't know about it. And in a couple of months, here's the really insidious thing. You might be thinking to yourself, you and I, we know that video has massive amounts of dislikes. But we are in the know. We are an ever more vanishingly small minority of people who give a shit, who care, who try to get the information. 6 months from now, nobody will even remember the downvote button. People will go onto YouTube, they'll see the garbage, and they will never even know that there was a backlash. The comments will be turned off, the dislike will disappear, and suddenly everything is universally positive. Everything is rainbows and unicorns. Weird, that. Except now it's extending into the real world. You won't get to see anything embarrassing. And the worst part is that this is actual. We talked a lot about censorship, and it has been strident for the last few years, but we have now entered into a new age where a platform is deciding what is and is not allowed, full stop. Both of these platforms have pretended to be like, oh, we're not going to be the arbiters of truth, we still want free speech. Well, no. And the thing is, this too is stuff that you are actually, you are allowed to share. As they mentioned in the mainstream media and so on, you are allowed to report on these things. It's absolutely legal to report on a violent revolutionary uprising, as we saw in and hell, this is another example, the various autonomous zones. Do you think we would have even heard about them? I need to get to work on that Golden Age video, because ours is just about at an end right now. This is so goddamn insidious. Man, it's difficult to not get demoralized, is it? It is genuinely difficult. All we can do is to try and guard our fandoms, to try and guard our areas of the internet, and try and remain as informed as we can. And hey, in all due likelihood, they might not attack, well, they're already attacking Project Veritas with bogus lawsuits, of course, over certain traps, are we allowed to say that? Certain traps laid out before them. Yes, that's vague enough for YouTube, right? Or Andy Ngo because he's too big, but anyone else, any future independent journalist trying to get up, they're not going to be allowed. Anyone that doesn't already have the clout to get above the screech, to signal boost their censorship to Twitter getting censored, they're not going to appear. This is simply just another step on a awfully familiar road. Well, freedom was fun while it lasted, wasn't it? Shut the gates, everyone. Bar them, close them, and guard them very, very dearly. Because shit's only gonna get more interesting from here on out. Till next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching, and have a good day.